1 year ago, Coco Gauff left Cincinnati in tears. 1 year later, she walked away as champion. That transformation alone would be an incredible story. But there's something even more fascinating behind Coco's comeback. She made a bold decision to completely rethink parts of her game. She faced doubts. She struggled. She questioned her form. And instead of running away from the problem, she attacked it head-on. Now, after winning the 2026 Cincinnati Open, Coco Gauff is opening up about just how different her tennis and her mindset has become. And here's the question everyone is asking. Could the decision that helped save Coco's game now be the secret weapon that sends her all the way to another US Open title? Let's break down the incredible transformation. Broken heart 1 year ago, everything felt different. To understand Coco Gauff's Cincinnati triumph, we have to go back to last year. Cincinnati wasn't a happy place for Gauff. The tournament ended in disappointment, and the emotional toll was enormous. Gauff later reflected that she had literally been in tears in the parking lot after last year's Cincinnati experience. That's a powerful image. A young champion who had already won the US Open suddenly finding herself questioning where her game was going. But sometimes the lowest moments become the beginning of the biggest changes. And that's exactly what happened. Wrenched the bold decision to change her game. Instead of simply trying to forget the difficult period, Gauff decided to make significant changes. One of the biggest areas was her serve. Her serving problems had become one of the most talked about weaknesses in her game. Double faults created pressure. Second serves became vulnerable. And every service game sometimes felt like a battle. But Gauff made a major decision. She worked with biomechanics specialist Gavin McMillan and began rebuilding elements of her serve. It wasn't an overnight solution. In fact, Gauff has acknowledged that the process was difficult. Changing something as fundamental as a serve can create uncertainty. You're trying to replace movements that you've used for years. And while you're learning, mistakes are almost inevitable. But Coco stayed with the process. The decision wasn't just about her serve. Here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Gauff wasn't only changing her serve. She also began changing the way she constructed points. During Cincinnati, she showed a much more aggressive willingness to move forward. Instead of always staying behind the baseline and waiting for an opponent to make a mistake, Gauff increasingly attacked. She came to the net. She looked for shorter balls. She finished points earlier. And that tactical adjustment gave her another dimension. Gauff explained that people had been encouraging her to come forward more, and she began seeing how effective that approach could be. This wasn't Coco abandoning her identity. It was Coco adding another weapon. Fire then came the comeback. Gauff's Cincinnati campaign didn't start perfectly. In her opening match, she lost the first set to Ludmila Samsonova. For a player who had been trying to rebuild confidence, that could have been a dangerous moment. But something changed. Gauff fought back. She won the second set 6-4. Then she completely took over the decider, winning 6-1 and closing out the match after dropping the opening set. That comeback may have been one of the most important moments of the entire tournament, because it demonstrated something bigger than technique. It demonstrated belief. Chart increasing from doubt to dominance. After that difficult opening match, Gauff's level exploded. She defeated En Lee. Then she beat Marie Bouzkova. Then Marta Kostyuk. Then Sarah Bijlek. And finally, she faced Jessica Pegula in the final. The results were remarkable. After losing that opening set to Samsonova, Gauff went on to win 12 consecutive sets during the rest of her Cincinnati run. Think about that. 1 set away from an early exit. Then 12 straight sets won. That's not simply a good tournament. That's a dramatic change in momentum. The All-American Final. The final created another major storyline. Coco Gauff versus Jessica Pegula. 2 American stars. 2 of the biggest names in women's tennis. And the first Cincinnati women's singles final between 2 Americans in 56 years. Gauff didn't allow the occasion to overwhelm her. She started aggressively. She controlled the first set, and eventually defeated Pegula 6-2, 6-4. The trophy was hers. But the real victory may have been what happened before the trophy ceremony. Gauff had proven to herself that the changes were working. Trophy a second Cincinnati title. This wasn't just another tournament victory. It was Gauff's second Cincinnati title, and that put her in an exclusive group. She joined Serena Williams and Victoria Azarenka as the only women to win the Cincinnati WTA 1000 event twice. The big question. So, was Coco Gauff's bold decision the turning point? Was changing her serve the key? Was becoming more aggressive at the net the missing piece? Or was the biggest change simply her decision to trust the process? Maybe it was all three. What we do know is that something clicked in Cincinnati. A player who entered the tournament with questions left with a trophy. A player who once struggled with confidence now looks energized. And a player who experienced tears 1 year ago is now heading toward New York with renewed belief. Coco Gauff's Cincinnati story is more than a comeback. It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest victories begin during the hardest moments. Last year, she walked away from Cincinnati devastated. This year, she walked away as champion. She changed her approach. She changed parts of her game. She trusted the people around her. And most importantly, she didn't give up when the results weren't coming immediately. Now the spotlight moves to New York. The US Open is waiting, and Coco Gauff is arriving with confidence, momentum, and a completely different feeling about her game. So now I want to know what you think. Was changing her serve the best decision Coco Gauff has made in her career? And after winning Cincinnati, can Coco Gauff win the 2026 US Open? Drop your prediction in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Coco Gauff, WTA, and US Open news. Because after what happened in Cincinnati, Coco Gauff isn't just back. She may be ready for something much bigger.